Okay, so here's what we've done so far. We have discussed the new biblical story, and we're down at 3. We have to choose a company to trade. Now, here's what I have. I brought this. I bought this from Tractor Supply Company, TSC. I also bought seed, bunch of seed from Home Depot. I have the receipts for these. Okay, I can tell you how much each the amount would be. If I were to get 100 of those at Tractor Supply, it turned out to be $17.63 per bale. So if I was to buy 100 of those, what would the price be to get 100? $17.63 with your calculators times 100. 1,000? How much?
1,762.
Okay, that would be enough to get me a covered call if I had 100 of these. And if this by chance was hooked in to Tractor Supply Company, all right, that's where I bought it. Let's go. And then the seed was with Home Depot. And I also have some pants here, Levi Strauss. So that's Levi at the top, Tractor Supply Company, and Home Depot. You're all familiar with these companies, I hope. I'm sure you've heard of them. Does anyone here have any stock in the stock market? Anybody here? You do. You do? You do. Okay. Do you want me to analyze that stock right now, or I'm going to go into these examples? What do you think? You want me to?
Yeah, Vanity Fair.
What is the, say that again?
VFC.
VFC. Okay. All right, there we go. You can see it on your screen down at the bottom. All right, here we go. Now, first off, we're going to do an analysis of this company. See if it's something that would be good for option trading. So first off, you want to know, is this company profitable, and how would you determine that? Like I said before, you want to have a company, if possible, at least $10 billion market cap. How do you determine the market cap? It is the amount of shares times the last closing price is your market cap. Well, let's find out about this company. We're going to move on down here. And this is on Charles Schwab. So right now on the share profile, the market cap is 7.5 billion. How many shares is it's 391.3 million. Okay, so what was the last stock price?
$20.
So we'll just say 20. So, all right, let's go back up here, and I'm going to ask a question. Hey, Siri, what is 391.3 million times 20? 7.826 billion. Well, it must have come down. I don't know. But you see what I did? I multiplied the shares by the stock price, gives you market cap. So at 7.5 billion, I prefer, this is a mid cap. So it's okay, it's mid cap. Let's find out how many how many institutions are owning it. Shares held by an institution, 88.44%. That's pretty good. That means other fund traders, like they're not ignoring it. All right. So let's come back down. Let's continue to evaluate this. What do? Well, is this the right one? The one you're looking for? It's VF Corporation with its subsidiaries. They have apparel, footwear, men accessories, women accessories, and children in America, Europe, Asia Pacific. It operates in 3 segments: outdoor, active, and work. The company provides outdoor apparel, footwear, equipment, accessories, and style, and it goes on down. Where are they located? Headquartered in Denver, Colorado. Okay, anyway, let's keep going. So, earnings date, their next earning is coming up in May of this year. Their earnings per share, 0.555. Price to earnings, 34. That's kind of giving you a how much does this stuff cost you? And the higher the price to earnings or or forward price to earning, PE, these numbers go up, they're costing you more. It's a little more pricey. Is it worth it? Maybe. So that does, apparently they do give a dividend, not much, 0.09 per share dividend, 1.88%. So how do you figure that out? Well, every quarter they're paying you 9 cents per share times 4 for the whole year. And your cost based off of this, trying to make this simple, how much does it cost you to buy that share? And what is that in relationship to the dividends you're getting? It's 1.88%. This is kind of off of the options. Now, Schwab equity rating gives it a 73. The lower the number, the better. If you're a number 1, that's really good. So news, now here we go. So it's actively, we're on current right now. This is live. So right now, the bid size, people are willing to buy it at $20.01 for 500, 600, 900 shares this winter, 400, 1,300 at 20. This is active right now, going on live as we speak. It's average per day is 7.3 million. Looks like it's more active today at 8.1 million. It closed at 19.11 and opened at 19.10. So let's keep going up here. All right, so here we are. So it dropped, it really came down and starting to work its way up. Okay, what does this look like in a 1 year? Well, at 1 year, way back here, it was higher, starting to recover. Okay, advanced, I'm going to do an advanced, mountain, and you'll learn how to do this. Here's an advanced. What am I doing? So I got a 5-day, let's make this a little bit longer than 5-day. Let's take that out to 3 months. So you can see that it's been climbing. Now, what are these lines? The top line is called Bollinger Band. It kind of gives you the generalized pricing of the stock over time. You also have this called a WMNA 9. That's that blue line. And if you watch that, the shares or the price follows that line, and it'll go up with it, and then it'll come back down. You can look at that line on weekly trading. Is it coming down or is it going up? That line. This other one, SMA 50, there it is, 20. SMA 20 is this line over the 20 days. And then there's the SMA 50 is this one. This one is like, okay, I'm watching, what is it? Is it pointing up or is it pointing down? Do they cross? And when they cross, then you go, uh-oh, shares are coming down. When shares are going down, a covered call will never be assigned. Why? Because you put a covered call, own 100 of this, and then put it in at a strike price of, let's say, 21. Well, let's take a look at that. How much do you get paid? Okay, let's do that. I'm on options. All right, here at 1 day, so obviously things are going to be expiring really quick by tomorrow. I'm going to go out 8 days. All right, now I'm looking for, I'm going to open this up a little bit more, instead of a strike of 8. What does that mean?
It means it's 4 above the market and 4 below.
At 16. See, if you count them. Got to make sure you're seeing what I'm seeing. Okay. If you, from where it is, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8 down. All right, now, if we do a 21 for not this Friday, but the following, we're going to offer to sell these shares at that one right there. Now, it immediately puts buy to open. And what you do is immediately change it to sell to open. You're not buying anything. You're not buying anything. And then you go, okay, well, right now for that time frame, you got a 26 cents, 28, and 29. I always like to pump that up. And in fact, if you want to work this well, I usually will look to see what the price is close to the market price and say, well, instead of it being 29 cents, well, let's find out. Let's take it down here to say 20.50. Well, now I'm at 41. But I don't use the 20.50. What did I just say? Hang on. That's 41 cents. So then what you can do is take that 41 cents. Wait, 20. Here we go. 62 at 20. So we're going to use 62 as our number. Hold on. 62 and go back to up to 21. And I'm going to click in here. 62. What have I just done? I made my contract premium paid to me more than what is out there right now. Why would I do that? Because the market moves. And I am telling you, you could set this up. It says limit. Well, you can see the expiring is February 6th. Hopefully we can come February 5th, but if it's snowing, I don't know. But if you wanted to do this for yourself, if you have 100 shares, put in, or you say, you know what? I don't want just 62. I want $1. Okay, perfect. Because I think the shares are going to recover and the price is going to come back up. Well, when the price comes back up towards your 21, the value of your contract increases. Well, if you have it set at a higher premium and just wait, you can always change it. So you can have here, and you can also put good till canceled. What does that mean? It won't expire till February 6th. Okay. Does this look at where?
Right in the middle.
Here, expiration February 6th. And you can walk away and do your life and do nothing and just leave it. The other thing yes. So it's good till canceled. And if it fills, you will have made $100 minus the commission. Well, now let's do some math. The shares, I don't know if you know how much you paid for your shares originally. You don't. That's fine. Let's just assume that you bought them today at $20.02. Okay. $20.02 times 100 is how much does it cost her to buy 100 shares right now? Okay, there we go. $2,002. Could somebody please multiply 2002 times 0.04 for a 12-month CD? How much would she get paid if she took that money and put it into a XYZ bank CD? How much is it?
$80.
How much?
80.
80, yes.
$80.
Roughly,
0.08. How much will she get if she does a contract for this, not this Friday, but the next? How much money will she get?
100.
100. Do you guys see the power of this? She can make she can make over what she would have done by sticking it in a CD in 8 days. And she can do it again the next day, or next week, following week. 100. But, like I said, you cannot annualize this. Why? Because these prices are moving. And maybe the next week, instead of being at 21 on Monday or Tuesday, it'd be after the 8th. When does this expire? February 6th. So now you have February 6th, which is a Friday, 7, 8. So the 9th of February, maybe it's now sitting at 22 or 23. Okay. Well, what can she do? Well, she bought them at 20. All right. So let's say that on Friday, it is now, she put the contract in at 20, what did I say, for 20, hold on, we're putting it in here at a sell to open of 21. But on Friday, let's say it's now showing before 4 p.m., it's now at 22. Well, what's wrong now? Now her contract is what's called in the money. The person that bought that from you, they want you to sell them your shares at 21 so they can then turn around and sell them to the market at 22. But you say, I don't want you to have my shares because I like this company. What can you do? So what you can do if you own this is that, and I can't set it up, is you can do what's called a roll. What does that mean? A rolling contract out for just maybe 1 week. It will then take what's called extrinsic time value. That 1 week of extra time is money. It will then buy the intrinsic. What is intrinsic value? It's very important to understand intrinsic value. Intrinsic value, if this is where you bought and this is where your strike is, for a covered call, anytime it passes this line, what your strike is being 21 and it's now at 22, it has now gained intrinsic value that the buyer is happy about because he now can sell it for more than what you're going to sell it to him for. He is getting some profit off of that. On a put, this is a covered call. For a cash secured put, it's whatever is below. And if you, instead of be 21, and you bought it at 20, and this is, say, 19 here, you did a cash secured put, and you had the money at 19, and now it's down at 18. Now what? You have on hold not 2,000, but what is 19 times 100? 1,900. Less money. Okay? You have on hold in your account, you have to have that available to do what?
Sure.
To buy at 19 if the strike price goes down below it. Unless you roll it. Well, what are you doing? You're paying the piper, okay, for whatever's below it, but adding time. You're selling time using your Mina weights, the title of this course. You are taking that time to buy when you sell it. So what you're doing actually when you roll it, you're buying to close, BTC. It does it for you automatically. Roll it. It'll ask you, what do you want to do? You click on it, confirm, boom. And I'm going to have to show you how that works. But what you're doing is buying the intrinsic value down here, and with not out of your bank account, it's your time. Now you say, well, what if it's super deep in the money? Well, you may have to add more time. And you will see either a net debit or a gain. And as you continue to add the time, your net debit will become positive. And if you said, well, I really don't need these shares and I'd like to keep them and I want to keep them for a long time, you roll it out 1 year and you're going to get a chunk of money for all that time that you sold. But that money, you say, well, if I tied up 1,000, what's 1,900 times 0.06? How much is that? 1,900 times 0.06.
$114.
How much?
$114. 114.
114. That's a 12-month CD, $114. Would you like to see how much that would be for 1 year? Here we go. All right, let's back this out. And on my chain, instead of out at 130, let's go 365, okay, 351. So as you can see now, since it's not giving you the estimated amount, 470 times 100, you will be getting 4.70 times 100. All right, I wish this thing would hang on, it's showing, let me just click it in there. 4.70. So, $470. You say, well, sure, 470 sure is whole much better than 114 for the same amount for the same time. But if I do it on a week and watch it in a week, and if I'm able to pop it at 100 or $80 for that week and do it week after week after week, you're going to get way over than what you would put out for a year at 470. What I'm describing to you is what's called the time to expiration day value, the Mina weight time to expiration day value. When you look at these and calculate per day, so if you take that number that we just, that 470, take 470 divided by 365. What is the day for that?
$1.28.7.
$1.27. Okay, $1.27 per day. All right. Take 1,900 times 0.04 divided by 365, and what do you get?
0.21.
So if you do it in a CD, 0.21 per day. What would you rather like to make? 21 cents a day or $1.27 a day? I think most of us would do that. But again, this is locking you up. You're obligating that money for 365 days. Just like you do with the CD. You are committed. That money is committed. If you take it out of your CD, you're going to get penalized. Y'all know that, I'm sure. You can't do that. But why do I want to lock my money up? Well, if you get where it's like, boom, where the stock price just drops out on you, either you just let it expire and go, okay, I'm going to take a big hit because now with the money, you're having to buy it back at a much lower price, and that's what'll happen. They'll take your $1,900 and you will then get shares at maybe down at 15, where you could have bought it for 1,500, but they're going to take your 1,900 and give you 100 shares. at a much lower price. I know it's happened to me. I want to see what would happen. It does. It then makes your price per share in your history and in your when you look at your what's the word I'm looking for? It's where you can see your history, where you buy your shares. And that's why I was asking you what your prices are every time you buy it. You follow me? The basis, yes. Your net, what it is, each time you buy it. Okay. So if you were to just roll it that 1 week and look to see that you're not in a debit, let time buy to close and sell to open. And they'll give you a little more money. Let it ride. The next Friday, maybe it's already come right on back past 19 again from whatever. Well, if it does and stays higher by the next Friday, it expires worthless. And you have not lost your money. The opposite is true for your shares. If it goes way above, and here's what I love to say. When the market is green, it is impossible for you, when you buy and it's green, for you to lose your initial payment and your premium. It's impossible for you to lose. Why? Because you're already selling for higher than what you bought it for. Even if it goes $100 higher, you still made money and a premium. On the other hand, if the market goes slamming down, okay, it's going to expire worthless at the end of the week with a covered call. You do not get assigned unless the price of the stock is higher than your strike price. That could be a little confusing, and I can understand that, how this whole thing works. And we're going to have to spend more time on that. But all I'm telling you, the ability to roll your contracts is enormous. The other thing too, and some of them here in the class, let's say during the week, you have a covered call and that stock just went, brrr. Well, now it looks like it's not going to get assigned, so the value of that contract can go almost to zero. Well, you can buy to close it and get out of it. You can buy your contract back. It's true, you go, well, what about the value? And that's a whole thing of itself. Your market value. If you're holding on to those shares, what happens when the stock price goes down? Your market value, and this is big, the value of your total value of your platform, the money you have, the stock you have, all together. This value, what you will find over time is it starts to, instead of having these huge fluctuations, if you did nothing, just bought the shares and did nothing, whoop, 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 whoop. But because you're using selling options, instead of the value doing this, it starts doing this. And I'm not kidding you. It starts to smooth that out. Even though you're doing thousands of dollars in options, if you've got that going, it'll smooth that out. Why? Because if the market is down and you're owning shares in contracts, those premiums that you obtained, now instead of waiting every 3 months for a dividend, you've picked up. You're picking up every single week. And so when that stock price is low, you're adding money to your account. But at the same time, you're adding weight, time weight. That contract, you're under an obligation The buyer, and here's what I'm trying to say. The word option is for buyers only. It's not for you. Buyers only. Why is that? They have the option to do nothing. They're under no obligation at all. They buy they buy. If it goes for them, they're happy. If it doesn't, they don't have to buy or sell anything. They just let that contract expire because they are out of the money. You, on the other hand, are obligated to either sell your covered call or give them your money to buy 100 shares. That's obligated. Those are obligated as the seller. So instead of using the word option, I use the word MENA contract. I'm using the Greek term of Alexander the Great, MENA. Why? Because there's 100 stock for that one contract. MENA contract. Once you establish a MENA contract, you can own it forever. One contract. You never have to let it get assigned because you have the ability to sell time. And time is money. When you go and get your car insurance, how many months is it for? 6 months. You pay your insurance company a big premium, or your home insurance a big premium, and at the end of the 6 months, do they give you your money back? No. But are they under the obligation? They sold you this insurance. They are under the obligation that if something happens to your car, they have to cover it. As sellers of options, you are under the obligation, but you've got control over your MENA by the ability to roll it into the future. I am telling you, that is a powerful tool. Being able to control it at 3:50 on Friday, 3:50 in the afternoon. But there's a caveat. If you want to continue with it, if it's deep in the money, that means it's way below or way above, I wouldn't wait for 3:50. You want to either do it close to the end of Thursday and early on Friday. Why? Because once you start approaching that 3:50 and you're so deep out of the money, no one's trading. They're not going to trade. It's hard. You're not going to get any profit at all. Hardly at all. Because these are contracts. We're not buying and selling stock at all. We're doing contracts, MENA contracts. And I have found that if you are way out of the money on either the put or the other, and you want to roll it on a Thursday or early Friday because things are still happening. But, and Ben knows this, if your contract is right at the money, I am telling you, wait to 3:50 because there is so much demand going on. They don't know which way this is going. And you go, okay, I don't want it to get assigned. And at 3:50, you punch that in there and hit it. You can make thousands of dollars at 3:50 if it's right at the money, or hundreds of dollars. And I'm not kidding you. Why? Because everybody's buying, selling, the contracts, not stock, the contracts. And there's where you pick up a lot of money, is if your strike price is right at the money. There's some, and it depends on the company, that's true. Not all companies are traded. There are some excellent companies out there. They only trade like for once a month or hardly at all. And there's no premiums. Don't worry about, you're wanting to get companies that will pay you the best premiums in the shortest amount of time that have the highest quality. And there are some out there that are a little more little more of a volatility. And that's what you are doing. You are selling volatility. Okay, implied volatility on your option chain. And I should show you some of that. All right, so we got to close up. Next time, hopefully we can come to continue this on next week. If it's snowing and you can't come,
We could do
Go
Zoom.
pick us up.
do what?
Maybe we could do Zoom.
I don't know about that.